for me, you'd really pushed. You'd wanted to have Al and I make a YouTube channel shoot from like 2008 onward.
Yeah,
because you were just always filming everything we did.
I really think I was. I really think
we missed the boat on that one.
Yeah, I really think that we would have had a successful, especially with shorts. We made a killing easy, right? But structuring some episodes like the startup life, or just all of these different captures, building a business from the ground up. At your parents' house or in the garage.
Yeah, but we
those
also
types of
Al and I are just also generally speaking, like two pretty crazy dudes. Not like obnoxiously crazy, but we were pretty outgoing. Alan was pretty funny. I was funny when I wanted to be funny. And some of the stuff we did, it was blooper reel type stuff, and that's why you wanted to.
We were three brothers. We were three brothers growing up, starting a business together. In itself, it was inherently funny and cool and exciting and a little stressful. It had all of the great pieces of emotion that you would look for in entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. Entertainment. I'm glad you said that, because my why was a mix of what we offer as a team, as a unit, because a lot of people like to work with us because of the teams that we have here at Three Ventures, but also us specifically. We're very lucky that we've never really had to do anything by ourselves. So being able to share that team style and oriented approach from three different brains was a part of my why. But then the other part of the why was the unscripted, unstructured Batman. I'm just kidding. Batman's not going to make an appearance tonight. Neither is Donald Trump. But all the funny stuff that we all like to do and we all make each other laugh with, I thought that we could run those two things in tandem.
Yeah, because at work we can't necessarily let our personalities come out a whole heck of a lot. I mean, we do. It's in our identity a little bit, but we're professional, and it's always professional first. And this is, I think, a good outlet.
Party in the back.
Now you talk about the why. Like when you're talking about starting a podcast, you have to have something that internally, intrinsically, you're motivated to do, because you're going to have to be putting together episodes at least on a frequent basis, maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. And you're going to need to do that for 2 or 3 years to start to get some traction. You're going to need to have some consistency and some commitment to that. And so when you're talking about starting a podcast, understanding your why is the most important thing, because when we started, we made a little small commitment, audio commitment. We said, hey, let's test this out. We don't even have to publish this. Let's just talk about things that, make us laugh or funny, things we did in the past. And it was a hit, and it was a hoot. And it was like, all of a sudden I woke up. That night I couldn't sleep. I was like, oh man,
it got the gears turning. The gears started turning in all of our heads that this was bigger than each of us individually.
Right.
And it was also a way for us to have one night together every week as well, for us to really dive into specific topics.
And playing to that consistency, that you brought up, Alan. It was pretty insightful and wonderful to every other day at school, in 2007, see your brother's bright and shining face, and then also look at the screen and see my bright and shining face.
on media and media class, and let's not forget
there's those little passions,
right,
that we kind of grew up around this space.
Yeah, we did,
and we are not only passionate about what we do, but doing this we've been passionate about for a long time.
We've just
and it
never
allowed
put it
us
into practice.
To create that YouTube channel. And it allowed us to do all these things that we've been wanting to do. And so now we've understood our why. And that was then when we start to get into the process of how you actually start and launch a podcast.
Yeah, so the process side of things, we were doing sort of the pre-preparation, and we were relying on you to do that. The November last year was a very interesting time for me because my kid was basically sick the whole month. I just remember having very strategic check-ins with you and going through and thinking about things from a very technical standpoint. Like, does this meet our technical needs and requirements? Okay, cool, Alan. Yeah, move on to the next step. And then it turned into the cataloging and identification of all the equipment we needed. So go ahead and take over from that point and talk to us about what we had to get to really put this studio together that wasn't just a bunch of wires connected up to a Rodecaster.
Yeah, so the next thing is you got to have a dreaming session. And on that dreaming session, you basically go, okay, if this podcast is wildly successful, what do we think that looks like? And Wally and I had a phone call, and we talked about it. Well, it'd be cool. We do the video switching, and we'd have a producer at the desk, running real-time video switching, and we'd have, different camera angles. And we started kind of talking about what the traits of a successful podcast would look like. Is this something we want to have be mobile and like we want to go do in different areas, like Nook Boys, or do we want to set up a studio? Like what resources do we have? And so we understood our why. Then we talked about what is our dream state.
And now add on some influence in there. Was there anybody who influenced you in the process? I know some of the people that influenced me, and I'll ask you the same question, Wally. Did you steal anything from anyone that was already doing this?
Well, I mean, I think you obviously have to look at the people who are really popular. I mean, obviously JRE is one.
Impulsive.
Yeah. Also, you have
Nook Boys.
Call Her Daddy podcast. I think on the female side of things, she does a really great job. I also think Nook Boys is right there. From a business podcast side of things.
Then you have a lot of guys that we also like MKB HD. Then you also have Linus Tech Tips. I mean, we are Philip DeFranco fans back in the day.
Correct.
There's a lot of
still are.
Yeah, still are. Yeah, and SourceFed before they killed it. And so you
shout out Hack 5.
Yeah. You kind of get the gist of where we're going. So we understood our why, and then we said, okay, what's our dream and our ideal state? And so that allowed us to have alignment with, okay, what type of budget do we want to commit to this? What time commitment are we going to have? And also,
what type of budget? He said budget, like he consulted us on the budget piece. Yeah. What a nice guy.
Did.
So hold on. So we went through and we did an episode 0 where we basically just hooked up a bunch of wires in Wally's living room. Thank God his wife didn't kill us. She actually joined in on the podcast. We had a fun time. We got all the gears turning in our heads. The vision was there. The inspiration was there. What was the next step?
The next step was consult our client, who was a special effects studio, and we had our why, and we had
still is.
Yes, it still is. Thank you. I'm speaking in past tense. Why am I doing that? Thank you, Wally. And so we consult our
Alan
client, who
awesome.
is a special effects studio.
And Alan is not here. He's
Yeah.
actually he's actually superimposed in, by the way.
He's on a podcast right now. He'll
And if
talk to
you
you
want
later.
some more information, check
I'm
out
an AI model.
check
More
out our-
on the upcoming episodes from WAC Attack. Be sure to listen in.
Thank
So,
you.
but-
Obviously, the AI knew exactly what I was going to say and
Yeah.
just said it. Come on.